M4, F-tier, fast fire rate, but 3-round burst, very low damage, strong recoil, and it's not free. The PDWR, A-tier, its starter weapons, high DPS, come with attachments, fast reload time, but very low ammo reserve. The SV98, A-tier, starter weapons, very high damage, fast fire rate, come with attachments, fast reload time, so I have nothing to say cons of this sniper. The SVD200, B-tier, high damage, great for mobile players, decent reload time, but low ammo reserve, and somehow slow fire rate. The M16A3, A-tier, same damage as PDWR, longer range, and mediocre reload time. The LSAT, B-tier, high damage, big magazine capacity, but slow fire rate, and painful long reload time. The 870 MCS, A-tier, really high damage in close range, starter weapons, come with blue laser sight, but kinda slow fire rate, and shell by shell reload. The M9, B-tier, bigger magazine, come with the blue laser sight, and mediocre damage. The RPG, A-tier, starter launcher, great for crowd, but really low ammo reserve. The MK2 grenade, B-tier, good for crowd like RPG, but small explosion radius, bouncy, and can harm to individuals. And the bandolier perk, C-tier, decent for newbies, but outclassed by later perks. The QBB95B, B-tier, good damage, but slow reload time, slower fire rate. The MP7, A-tier, very fast fire rate, big magazine, but low damage. The L96, A-tier, very hard hitting, medi-core fire rate, but only 5 rounds, and unnecessary long reload time. The AUG-A3, A-tier, high DPS, good fire rate, good reload time, and I have nothing to say cons of this gun. The PKP, B-tier, higher damage, average fire rate, and medi-core reload time. The M1911, F-tier, only high damage, but very low DPS, only 7 rounds, and smallest ammo reserve. And the quick hand perk, A-tier, very useful for every guns, increased weapons DPS and outclassed by later perks. The AKU-205, C-tier, more ammo reserve, medi-core reload time, but lower DPS. The State Route 2, B-tier, very quick reload time, fast fire rate, but low damage. The State Route 25, A-tier, quick reload time, great for mobile players, I have nothing to set cons of this gun. The AEK-971, C-tier fast fire rate, long range, but very low damage. The MG4, A-tier, fast fire rate, bigger magazine, decent reload time, but low damage. The SPAS 12, A-tier, great on close range, half-life 2, but shell by shell reload. The Glock 18, B-tier, first fully auto pistol, quick reload time, but pretty weak pistol. The Flashbang, A-tier, huge blast radius, very quick detonate time, useful to revive your teammates, stun zombies, but cannot kill zombies, limited only 3. The Doomslayer perk, B-tier, useful every difficulty, but Gola Cola is enough, you don't need this anymore. The Mini 14, A-tier, it's worked like DMR, good fire rate, decent for mobile, cons is it's not fully auto. The G36C, B-tier, decent damage, may reload time, but somehow slow fire rate. The FAMAS, B-tier, fast fire rate, quick reload, but smaller magazine, and really weak gun. The M40A5, B-tier, very fast fire rate, but lower damage, only 5 rounds. The L86, D-tier, no range penalty, decent reload time, but only 30 rounds, lower DPS than other guns. The M60, A-tier, very high damage, great for crowd, but slowest reload time in the LMG class, pretty low ammo reserve. The AR-10, B-tier, first battle rifle, quick reload time, met fire rate, but low ammo reserve, small magazine. The M1014, A-tier, first semi-automatic shotgun, higher DPS, but shell-by-shell reload. The Super Shorty, A-tier, powerful secondary, basically 870 MCS compact version, but smaller magazine, and shell-by-shell again. The SMAW, A-tier, stronger than RPG, a little bit bigger explosion radius, but slower reload time, and can damage you. The Steady Hands, A-tier, more very useful for every weapons, increased more weapons DPS, and outclassed by later perks. The MDRX Micron, B-tier, quick reload time, met fire rate, cons is shorter range. The FNC, B-tier, decent fire rate, may reload time, but short range. The SKS, A-tier, great for mobile, no range penalty, poor fire rate, I have nothing to say cons of this gun. The AR-160, B-tier, longer range, med damage, but lower DPS. The Scout, A-tier, very quick reload time, very high DPS, high ammo reserve, but only 5 rounds. The QBB-95, B-tier, decent damage and reload time, but smaller magazine. The Shack-12, B-tier, high damage, met fire rate, but shorter range. The Striker, A-tier, high damage, big magazine, quicker shell-by-shell reload, but really strong recoil. The Desert Eagle, A-tier, first pocket sniper, quick reload time, good magazine capacity, but slow fire rate. The USB, B-tier, good damage, big magazine, but a little bit slower reload time. The Sticky Grenade, B-tier, stick to zombies, old grenade nostalgia, but small explosion radius. The Barbarian perk, F-tier, pros, nothing, and only 7% is barely to see difference. The ACWR, A-tier, really quick reload time, fast fire rate, decent damage, so I have nothing to say cons of this gun. The AX-74U, A-tier, high damage, good fire rate, but strong recoil. The ASVAL, B-tier, fast fire rate, decent reload time, med damage, but smaller magazine. The AK-103, A-tier, high damage, good DPS, but slow fire rate. The M14 EBR, A-tier, longer range, hard hitting, but slowest automatic fire rate in the game. The PPSH-41, A-tier, very large magazine, high DPS, fast fire rate, but no tactical reload. The M200 Intervention, A-tier, very hard hitting, bigger magazine, decent reload time, but slow fire rate. The QBU-88, A-tier, faster fire rate, quick reload time, and a little bit higher damage. The M240, 8-tier, great DPS, crowd destroyer, but painful long reload time. The Saiga 12K, S-tier, burst shotgun with magazine box, very high DPS, powerful for mobile, great crowd control, cons is somehow slow reload time. The 93R, C-tier, quick reload time, but 3 rounds burst, low DPS. The Glock 40, A-tier, quick reload time, big magazine, decent DPS, so I have nothing to say cons of this gun. The Panzerfaust 3, A-tier, biggest explosion radius, very high damage, but small ammo reserve, and can damage you. The Rambo perk, B-tier, useful for weapons with low ammo reserve, but outclassed by later perks. And the Bullseye, B-tier, very useful for snipers, but make sure do not miss the headshot. The SG-553, B-tier, quick reload time, good DPS, so I have nothing to say cons of this gun. The M4A1, A-tier, fast fire rate, good damage, and I don't know the cons of this gun. The AK-200, B-tier, high damage, medi-core fire rate, but slow reload. The Scar H, A-tier, very quick reload time, high DPS, decent fire rate, cons is small magazine. The P90, B-tier, big magazine, but lower DPS, slow reload time. The M98B, A-tier, larger magazine size, very hard hitting, but very painful long reload time, and slow fire rate. The RFB, B-tier, strong DMR, large magazine capacity, cons is somehow long reload time. The M16A3SW, A-tier, good damage, no range penalty, decent reload time, so I have nothing to say cons of this gun. The FN57, A-tier, faster fire rate, large magazine size, quick reload time, and I don't know the cons of this pistol. The Anaconda, A-tier, more damage, more ammo reserve, but only 6 rounds. The TAC-14, A-tier, pocket shotgun, fast fire rate, but shell by shell reload. The ammo box, B-tier, great for emergency, but armory exists. The RGD-5 grenade, A-tier, carry 5 greens, bigger explosion radius, higher damage, but bouncy, and can damage you. The Iron Hands perk, A-tier, more useful for every weapons, increased more weapons DPS, and outclassed by later perks. The MP5, A-tier, great damage, fast fire rate, quick reload time, but massive range penalty. The BFG-50, A-tier, one shot one kill, very quick reload time, only cons is extended capacity are useless. The AK-74M, C-tier, decent damage, okay reload time, but lower DPS. The AKM, C-tier, a little higher damage, but slow reload time, and low DPS. The XM8, A-tier, very quick reload time, high DPS, good fire rate, so I don't know cons of this rifle. The HKG-3, A-tier, hard hitting, decent fire rate, quick reload time, and I have nothing to say cons of this rifle. The SA-58 Valve, C-tier, larger magazine size, fast fire rate, but low DPS. The Message 90, A-tier, more ammo reserve, high DPS, quick reload time, cons is slow fire rate. The RPK, A-tier, quickest reload time, no range penalty, great damage, and I have nothing to say cons of this LMG. The USAS 12, A-tier, First fully automatic shotgun, fast fire rate, quick reload time, high DPS but short range. The CZ75, 8-air, very quick reload time, fast fire rate, large ammo reserve, but low damage. The MAC-10, 8-air, big magazine, quick fire rate, but slow reload time, has range penalty. The KS-23M, 8-air, very powerful secondary, but massive range penalty, slower shell-by-shell reload. The medical box, S-tier, very useful for emergency and teammates, and I have nothing to say cons of this lunchbox. The Molotov, F-tier, only useful on insta-kill, harmless, but it's too weak, carry only 3. And the Berserker perk, D-tier, useful for some guns, but only 11% still barely to see a difference. The Honey Badger, A-tier, fast fire rate, high DPS, and quick reload, but short range. The Griza, A-tier, high damage, great DPS, but short range again. The VHS-2, B-tier, fast fire rate, medi-core damage, but massive range penalty. The MCX, B-tier, fast fire rate, med damage, but unnecessary long reload time. The CZ805, A-tier, quick reload, great DPS, decent fire rate, so I have nothing to say cons of this rifle. The AK-12, A-tier, more ammo reserve, good reload time, I have nothing to say cons of this rifle. The MDRX, B-tier, high damage, decent reload time, but low ammo reserve, and slow fire rate. The SVD Dragono, A-tier, hard hitting, but slow reload time, and low DPS. The Vector .45, A-tier, very fast fire rate, big magazine size, good reload time, but low damage. The S50, S-tier, really fast fire rate, very powerful choice for mobile, big magazine, very high DPS, but very strong recoil, and slow reload time. The M249, S-tier, compact size, great damage, fast fire rate, larger magazine size, decent reload time, and large ammo reserve, so I have nothing to say cons of this LMG. The minigun, A-tier, largest magazine capacity in the game, very fast fire rate, don't need to reload often, but unnecessary strong recoil, and attachments are rarely too available. The A-12, A-tier, large magazine capacity, crowd decimator, but slow fire rate, and strong recoil. The KS-23K, S-tier, very high DPS, powerful choice for mobile, quick reload time, but small magazine size. The M17, A-tier, very high DPS, faster fire rate, big magazine capacity, and quick reload time, so I have nothing to say cons of this pistol. The Uzi, A-tier, very quick reload time, great DPS, but slow fire rate. The Plas Cannon, B-tier, fast fire rate, may reload time, but low damage. The PA-20, S-tier, burst grenade launcher, very powerful crowd control, good magazine capacity, but small explosion radius, and can damage you. The M67 grenade, A-tier, carry more 6 grenades, bigger explosion radius, higher damage, but bouncy, and can damage you. And the Logistician perk, B-tier, more useful for some weapons with low ammo reserve, but the armory exists. The Pulse Rifle, A-tier, very large capacity size, great fire rate, high DPS, but long reload time, and short range. The CZ Scorpion, A-tier, Second fastest fire rate, no recoil glitch, large ammo reserve, but short range. The Barrett M82, S-tier, extremely powerful choice for mobile, very high DPS, good crowd control, and decent reload time, so I have nothing to say cons of this sniper. The Hecate 2, A-tier, one shot one kill, good magazine capacity, but insanely long barrel, slow fire rate. The HK416, B-tier, very fast fire rate, really large ammo reserve, but unnecessary long reload time, and low DPS. The AK-15, A-tier, strongest AR in the game, decent reload time, and good DPS, but slow fire rate. The NGSWT, A-tier, very high DPS, quick reload time, good crowd control, but slow fire rate. The PP-19 Bison, S-tier, very large magazine capacity, low recoil, high DPS, but insanely range penalty, and slow reload time. The MG42, B-tier, fastest fire rate in the game, no recoil glitch, and decent reload time, but low damage, and lower DPS. The M2HB, S-tier, strongest fully automatic gun in the game, very powerful crowd control, very high DPS, but very slow fire rate, and small ammo reserve. The 500 Magnum, B-tier, very powerful pocket sniper, very quick reload time, but small magazine capacity, and slow fire rate. The MGL grenade launcher, easily S-tier, extremely powerful crowd control, quick reload time, only choice to reach high rounds, but still small explosion radius, and can damage you. The TNT, S-tier, largest explosion radius, insanely high damage, not bouncy, but slow detonate time, and can damage you. And the Dexterous perk, S-tier, extremely more useful for every weapons, and insanely increase more weapons DPS, and there's no cons of this perk. The RM277, S-tier, insanely high DPS, quick reload time, but has range penalty, the fire rate still slow, small magazine capacity. The Barrett M95, A-tier, strongest gun in the game, one shot one kill, but very slow fire rate, and small magazine size. The XM250, S-tier, highest DPS in the game, excellent crowd control, fast fire rate, large ammo reserve, but slow reload time. The TS12, D-tier, decent crowd control, large magazine size, but very low DPS, very painful shell by shell reload. The RSH-12, B-tier, a little bit more powerful pocket sniper, but still slow fire rate, and still small magazine capacity. And the multitasker perk, C-tier, small increase movement speed, and 9% damage boost, still barely to see a difference.